are live. We are back another week of high school football in Mohave County. Coach, this week did not disappoint. I feel like we're in mid-season form, but we're early in the season still.
Yes, still early in the season. We had 3 teams this week get their first wins of the season. Everyone in the county is going to win at least one game this year. That's the good news.
Those 0-10s are rough. I know we've seen a few of those over the years. We had a lot of good games, and we have a lot of good games coming up. I'm really excited for a couple of these matchups. You know, as the football season goes on and on and on, you learn more about the teams based on the competition they play. You have some matchups you can compare to other matchups. You get a better feel of things. I think that, some of those local matchups that we saw where, Lee Williams playing Kingman was an eye-opener.
Havasu and Mohave was very interesting, opened some eyes.
Yeah.
It's as the season progresses, like the picture, you start to see more of it being painted, you have better understanding. We're starting to see there's clearly a gap in talent-wise between the 4A and the 3A schools. How much of a gap, we'll find out this weekend.
Right, and then you're starting to encounter the realities of high school football, which is injuries, eligibilities, things that, when you're talking about kids playing both sides of the ball, like we talked about some of the kids at Mauk, you have a guy out, that's a huge piece on both sides. So that being said, Mohave goes into Lake Havasu in what was actually a really tough, good game, a little back and forth, and pulls out the three-peat for the shovel, something that has not ever been done before, I don't think. Definitely not in the modern era.
Yeah.
And they come in, pull out an absolute huge win for Mohave and their people, and go down to Havasu, bring the shovel back home.
Yes, it was I had a great time going to this game, one of the 2 games I got to see this weekend.
Did anybody throw anything at you for picking?
No one threw anything at me. I got to give credit to the Havasu fans. They had over 200 students in their student section. And the thing I do love about the big schools, Havasu, Mohave, Kingman, and Lee Williams, is like bands. Good morning. Good morning. But just when you have a band, it just makes high school football so much better. I love that you had Mohave's band was there and their cheerleaders, Havasu's band, and just that was probably the most packed stands I've seen of any game so far this season, and it did not disappoint.
It did not disappoint, and it was actually a really exciting game. At one point, the quarterback for Havasu gets hurt, goes out, and I believe they brought in Halo to play quarterback. Kid made some nice throws. I think they hit him with an old double pass, got him with the old double pass.
They hit him with a couple double passes.
Yeah.
6 different players for Havasu threw the football on Friday night. I give credit to offensive coordinator Riley Freeland after their injury early in the second quarter to starting quarterback Trip Burke. Halo went in there, and he started him off with some screen passes, some easy short throws to get him in the motion of the game. And I give Havasu props for still fighting after losing their starter early.
Well, I think it says a lot about them as a team, and I guess we'll find out the health of the quarterback going forward and how much that affects this week's game. But them going out and getting creative, executing those creative plays, and keeping them in the game, because they very well could have gone the other direction. They could have fallen apart. They could have, let things get out of control, and they didn't. They really held together, stuck to a game plan, and my hat's off to that young man. He did make some throws. I know they gave him some easy ones, but he threw some downfield, threw a couple nice slants at one point to move the ball down the field, and ended up being a 1-score game. Really a great game, and that's the Havasu side of things. And Mohave rose to the occasion. Yeah,
Mohave rose to the occasion. It was Yoni had some great moments. He had some tough plays, but they played well. And I was just very impressed with how Mohave, even with all these guys going both ways, they just kept churning along, and when adversity hits, they came back punching.
Yeah, and we talked about their Achilles is going to be their depth, and they had a couple guys get hit in that game as well.
I believe Yoni missed a couple plays.
Yeah, Yoni missed.
Had to play
so I think it's known now. Joe's been playing with stitches in his finger for the last 2. He happened in the scrimmage, and everything that kid's done, he's done with essentially not 2 full hands.
Right.
He's really done an amazing job. It has not really visibly affected him much, but I know he's had to come out from time to time, whether the stitches were going out or whatever was happening. Right. So he is a absolutely fierce competitor. I mean, you see it in the way he plays.
Yeah.
But it is something that he has been dealing with and has not slowed him down much to speak of. I saw Nathaniel took a nasty hit. Nathaniel Villarreal, really probably undervalued receiver on that team. Plays both sides of the ball. I don't know what his status is, but that all leads into going in the next game. And I do, again, want to give a shout-out. We mentioned in week 1, Jeremiah ran the ball like an absolute maniac.
Yeah,
and
Jeremiah Huerta-Perez, 14 carries, 155 yards, 1 touchdown, and our recipient for Play of the Week.
Play of the Week, guys. Watch this one. If you're a football guy, what's not to love in this thing? Running the ball, broke a tackle, and I believe goes 15 more yards.
Yeah.
Just fighting guys off till the very end. Jeremiah Huerta-Perez, our Play of the Week. Check this out.
Yeah.
There you go! Yeah!
Right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Havasu guys.
That's Trevor Thompson. That's one of the best linebackers in the county.
Right.
And he's dragging him for a couple
And so shout out Jeremiah.
There you go! Yeah!
We had a great one from Cooper up in Kingman. Made a freaking great diving catch. Kept it in back of the end zone.
Yeah, we'll show that in a second.
Yeah,
here.
we had a couple other great nominees, and and he really got kind of robbed of that by that run right there.
Yeah, definitely.
Great individual effort. I bet you the line coach is wondering where my lineman at, getting downfield and helping them. I'm sure Coach Chad's going to be on him for that one.
Yep, that's right.
But congratulations to Mojave winning that shovel. Do we have that Mojave shovel image? I think that is, kind of the epitome of the emotion of that game.
Yes. No, I had an opportunity to hold the shovel. It was first time probably ever a Kingman guy has held a shovel. Oh, look at that. Look at that.
Look at that guy.
It's a little heavier than it looks, guys. It's heavier than it looks.
Yeah. Very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
very cool.
Great atmosphere, great game. Game of the season, maybe this early season?
Well, I think we're going to have a couple games to top it here real quick. So congratulations, Mojave. I think, really a lot of fun. And we're going to come back and touch on what both these teams have big games coming up in the following week, this week, excuse me. So let's move on to Kingman Lee Will. A lot of things to like about Kingman, some playmakers, and more tests for Lee Williams. I think I told Coach Regan, I'm curious to see what Prescott brings. I wasn't sure where their first test was going to come from, and I don't think it was this week.
No, it was not. Kingman had a rough game. There is a talent gap, as we talked about at the start of the show, between the 4As and the 3As right now, and Kingman just a little undermanned compared to Lee Williams. Lee Williams, as we've learned as the season progressed, depth.
Yeah.
They might be them and maybe Havasu are the ones in this county that actually can say they have depth and they have multiple bodies that can rotate in, especially on defense. And that's such a huge thing. Lucas Lease, 14 carries, 193 yards, 3 touchdowns. Bryson Vaughn, 5 carries, 143 yards, 2 touchdowns.
5 carries.
Averaging 28.6 a carry. Cooper Cronk.
That's like Tecmo. That's not even Madden numbers. That's like Tecmo Super Bowl 92
and then
years.
Cooper Cronk stood out. Even with only 3 catches, 39 yards, 2 touchdowns, we have one of those touchdown plays here.
Big time catch right here.
We'll show it in a minute.
Back of the end zone.
Which one is it?
It was the second clip I sent you. But then Lee Williams held Kingman to -8 rushing yards.
Yeah. Any football guy worth his salt knows if you're not running the ball, you're going to have a rough day.
Right.
And that's a very, very dominant performance. At any level, that's a 3A versus a 4A. But I don't think anyone would have predicted that, other than maybe Coach Regan.
Yeah,
So
correct.
Coach Regan may have predicted it. So.
Yeah, Coach Regan may have predicted it.
Uh-oh, we lost the video.
Sorry, guys.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we posted it on the story on the Instagram page, guys.
Yeah.
If you can, most of our stuff originates from our Instagram page. We really started it as a supplement to existing platforms, and it's kind of taken on a little bit of a life of its own. We'll post it to the Instagram so everybody can see it. Absolutely spectacular catch. And
Was it this game? Just
Yes, there it is.
yeah,
Yep.
watch this, guys.
Yeah.
Really a great play. Gets it out quick. Ball's away. Back of the end zone.
High points it, gets the foot in.
Yeah, great body
Yeah.
control. I mean, he twisted in the air.
No, just great throw by Morgan Quinn, too. Just get it in the back of the end zone for where only he can get it. Yeah.
Yeah. Great play. That was another Play of the Week nominee. I'm sure we'll get a lot more from that duo right there.
Yeah, definitely.
Really a tough night for Kingman. Do you know, was the crowd good for the Kingman Lee Williams games? I had seen someone on Facebook kind of complaining that there wasn't a lot of support out there, and I find that hard to believe with the excitement in these two programs.
I heard that it was a solid crowd. I mean, I didn't get the chance to go, obviously, because I went to the Havasu Mojave game. But I heard it was a solid crowd, mostly Lee Williams, downtown. But, yeah. Well,
Nobody wanted to make the long drive across Kingman,
it was
huh?
it was also First Friday, so parking downtown was at a minimum.
Yeah.
If that. But yeah. So now we move on to our next game. The second game I got to see this weekend on Saturday, San Pascal versus Kingman Academy. Kingman Academy pulled out its first win of the season.
Congratulations,
52
Kingman
to
Academy.
34 behind our player of the week, Jeremiah Olave, running back and cornerback for Kingman Academy.
Yeah, this is another video game stat type
Yes.
day here. So
He started the game recovering the onside kick on the opening kickoff. And then the
that's
very
one of those
next
ones you knew it was going to
Yes.
be your day.
Yeah. Then the very next play, he goes 40 yards for his first of 5 touchdowns.
Oh, wow.
Academy clip we got?
Yeah, we got the Academy clip. Yep.
Ready for that?
Yeah.
Here we go.
First play of the game, guys.
Listen, you have to play this a few times, Jeff, because I tell you,
Okay.
for one, great catch, great, like when you know it's your day. But football people, look at these linebackers right here.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if they forgot what go was, or once you're a defender, once the ball goes, you go.
Yeah, no, we got the
Play that again. Watch
Yeah.
these linebackers. They're flat. What are they doing? They forgot we were playing football.
Yeah. No, it's
Let him go.
Now listen, first game, maybe they caught him off guard with a quick count, something or other. I'm not sure, but I'll tell you what, that's not going to be a fun film session.
no, it is not.
Coach is going to look at that. He's going to scratch his head, and he's going to call somebody out in that film session. It's not going to be a good day.
Definitely. A little more in detail on the Jeremiah stats from Saturday night. 23 carries, 222 yards, 2 touchdowns rushing, 6 catches, 209 yards, and 3 touchdowns, 6 solo tackles, and 4 pass deflections, along with his onside kick recovery.
Yeah, that's an all-time stat line right there.
Yeah.
And I think that's the talent we had been seeing that other teams were able to bottle up, the athleticism and things like that. So congratulations to them and that young man on a massive performance, getting out, getting after it, and putting their mark on it.
I think the key in this game was they used tons of motions with him. They would shift him. They started him out at running back and then shifted him out to wide receiver and then back to running
Which
back.
we had talked about
lot of
before
movement.
the Desert Star game that I thought that they would do that because they had done a few things in the scrimmage to get the ball in his hands, unique places, and they really had a hard time pulling that off. So, but this is kind of what we talk about when we have the comparison of one game to the next. You know, are they adapting? Was this a bad matchup? What was the repercussions of this game or decisions in that game? So
Definitely.
this is kind of the fun part of football. If you're guys like us sitting on the sideline speculating. So
I had the chance to talk with the Academy Office Coordinator, Anthony Olave, after the game, and it was 28-14 at halftime. And early in the third quarter, San Pascal tied it up 28-28. And he was just impressed with the resilience of his team to bounce back and not quit fighting and to finish the game. Like, because a lot of teams,
and boy, did they finish.
yeah, a lot of teams in those situations, when you have a lead like that and then you lose it in the fourth quarter, a lot of teams are gonna falter. And they're going to put their heads down, and they're going to...
Well, it's what all the great analytics guys can't figure out, and that's momentum.
Exactly.
How to stop it, how to feed it, and how much of a factor it is in games. And when you have a lead and you give it up, that momentum's usually swinging back the other way, and it takes some type of special player to kind of break back through, get that momentum back, and it sounds like they leaned on their guy.
Yeah, they leaned on their guy, and he came through on Saturday night.
Absolutely. Congratulations, Kingman Academy, and our player of the week. What's the young man's first name?
Jeremiah Olave.
Jeremiah Olave. We already went through the lineage. We don't have to do it
Yes,
again.
you don't have to do it again.
It's
Yeah.
just fun to say Olave. I
It
feel
is
like we're
great.
on
No, it's
Sports
great.
Center,
Yeah.
right? Very cool. So that takes us to our next one. And I'll tell you, I heard nothing but bad things about this game.
I heard some interesting things on Facebook and
Oh,
Twitter as well about this
man.
game, which I'm not surprised. Desert Star went to Chino Valley this weekend, lost 60-14. It was after the game is where we've heard a lot of things. Apparently, Desert Star did not shake hands with Chino Valley for good reason after we learned from their head coach. But I'm not surprised. Chino Valley,
How many times you played in Chino Valley?
at least 3?
You ever played there without incident?
No.
We haven't.
No.
We went
So-
there, I think, 5 years. So I went there at least 2 or 3 times, and it is one of the only places where like we had to walk down and come through a gate at the far end. And there's a bunch of fans there. I love it. I'm cool with it.
Are right there as you walk by to get to the
I like it all.
Yeah.
I'm here for it. And that kid got in Coach O. Coach O's a pretty chill guy. Like, I'm probably the hothead of that duo. And kid got in his face, and then as we left, people hooting and hollering at the kids. And I don't think we ever went to Chino where we didn't have some type of an issue. And when we went up there, I think we were up 50 in the first quarter. And we were trying to get kids who never played in positions before, and they were still mad, and they resorted to, all kinds of things that you don't want to see on a football field. Little cheap hits, late hits, things like that. I was not at this game, but it sounded very in character for the other things I had seen over the years.
Yes.
Really disappointing, especially when, they put up a resounding victory.
Yes, I remember I have a story when I was coaching at Kingman High, and we had Chino in the 2020 season, that nightmare of a season. Our second game after we beat the Academy in a close one week 1, we went to Chino. We ended up losing 14-8. And after the game, we're walking past those stands to get to our locker room. This is COVID. There's supposed to only be like 2 fans per player. There was more like 100 plus there. And I still got a little bump on the back of my head. I had a beer bottle thrown at the back of my head. And we lost the game.
Yeah. Yeah, I hate to feed into it. I really hate to see it, is what I hate to see. I know that when you're losing, it's embarrassing for the kids. It's hard to keep your head up and play the right way. You just want to do what you can do, and sometimes it doesn't come out the right way. But to win like this and then have it stained, right, wrong, or indifferent stinks for everyone involved. I don't know, but I do trust Coach Clark's judgment in saying that he didn't think it was in the kids' best interest to shake hands. He is all about sportsmanship, doing it the right way. I hate to hear it. Hopefully everyone came out of it all right and everybody learns from it. But that's
the important thing is to
it's
move
one of the
past
ugly
this
sides
game.
of high school football.
Right. Move past this game, stay healthy. Talking with some of the couple assistant coaches, it sounds like they were still throwing the ball in the fourth quarter. The starters never really left the game. They were trying to run up as much as possible.
Yeah.
There's a way to win.
Even stuff like that doesn't bother me nearly as much as being nasty about it or late hits or things like that. I mean, like, I felt bad. I believe it was a Chino game. We don't have backups.
Right.
We were already playing a sophomore quarterback. We already took our running back out. We already moved guys to positions they were never played before. But we only had 20-some-odd guys. And, you go out and tell those guys to straight up not try. That's not really good either.
Right.
And so I understand all that. I mean, obviously, you say, hey, go stop them, go make a play, go do your thing. But it's all the extra stuff that really had no business being involved. And
I agree.
Hopefully, like I said, hopefully it was a one-off situation. Everybody moves on, learns from it. But that's no fun for anybody.
Yeah.
You should win. You should be able to hold your head up high and not have a cloud over it. And if you lose, you take your lumps. But you shouldn't have to worry about getting hurt outside of the rules of the game, So, hate to hear it.
Yep, definitely. So that moves us on to our next game of last weekend. Babbo and Mauk. Mauk enters the win column finally this year. Great 56-6 win versus Babbo. Rylan.
Why don't you say the whole name for Babbo?
Babbo Kovari?
Oh, that's pretty good. I don't know. I know I wasn't going to try it.
Mauk's quarterback, Rylan Crambrule, 8 for 12, passing 85 yards, 1 touchdown, 10 carries, 139 yards rushing with 3
great
touchdowns.
performance.
Led the way for the Patriots. I do not believe Owen Honiger played. He did not show up in the stat book at all.
Yeah,
You want to see the photo?
Yeah.
Yeah, if he didn't show up in the stat book, he didn't play because that kid is a playmaker.
Yeah.
So, yeah, congratulations, Mauk. We know they had some tough games to start the season, and it's a long season, everyone. You lose your first 2 games, win your next 8, and you're one of the best teams in the region. So
They started off with 2 really tough teams at the beginning of the year. I think they're going to settle down, and they're going to find their way in the playoffs again.
Yeah, absolutely. And if they did it without Honiger, then hats off to them. Sounds like they leaned on their quarterback a little bit,
Torres
do a little
got
bit
to
more.
play finally.
Oh yeah. I'm sure he was a huge factor on both sides of the ball. Congratulations, Mauk, getting in the win column and doing it in a resounding 56-6 win. So a lot of fun again, guys. That's 8-man 1A.
Yes.
Correct.
1A.
So it's a lot of fun. If you ever get a chance to check it out, go down to the What do they call it?
The battleground. The battleground.
One's the gym. I forget. I apologize.
The battleground.
Now. Great branding. I love it. It's all on brand with
Yeah.
the Patriot theme. So I can't remember if I told you. I went to go watch your middle school game, and they only take cash at the gate. And I'm thinking, by the time I go to an ATM, come back, 8-minute quarters, I can only stay for a little bit.
8-minute quarters, but they started running that clock early.
Yeah, and I was like, you couldn't just let me walk around for 15 minutes, you know?
Yeah, no, the game started at 4. The game was over by 4:45. It was a quick one.
Yeah, I would have been really pissed if I would have
Yeah.
went, got money, came in, and the game was over by the time I got there. So, but anyway, I was hoping to come watch a little bit of your team. Didn't get a chance to, but
No worries. It was we did a good game against Fox Creek, 32-0, and yesterday we beat the Academy Middle School 55-0. So we're off to a
man,
great
you guys
start
are on
this
a
year.
roll.
Got White Cliffs on Wednesday, so excited.
Yeah, that'll be a fun one.
So then-
I wish that all these schools would get on one pay plan where you either get the app or cash,
Right.
because I feel like whatever I'm guessing is wrong. And I'm old school. I'd rather just buy a ticket and not have to get an app,
Updated
download
chat.
a.
Owen has a minor shoulder injury. Should be back in a couple weeks.
Oh, good to hear. Good to hear.
That'll be a huge. I mean, if they can keep winning games without him and then get him back, that would be huge. So I appreciate the update. Thank you guys.
Yeah, thank you, Patrick.
And he is an absolute playmaker. So
Yeah. One of, if not the best receiver in the county.
yeah, kids. He reminds me of like a freckle-faced Steve Smith.
Yes, Steve Smith.
Yeah. So not that he's freckle. He's just not Steve
So,
Smith. So.
our last recap of the weekend, Shadow Mountain visited River Valley at the Field House. River Valley won 40-14. Got
Yeah.
in the win column for the first time this year as well. Yep, we got a photo from that game. This is one of Aiden Montgomery's 3 rushing touchdowns. Had 4 touchdowns total, including 1 punt return for 92 yards.
Yeah, very exciting game. Obviously, we talk about who you play, and they've had a rough start. They've played good ball every week. You knew the wins were coming, and from what I saw, Shadow Mountain was a big physical team. I mean, they looked the bigger bully part, and really great job by River Valley sticking to game plan, winning a resounding 40-14 victory. So.
Yes, definitely. I'm glad to see that River bounced back after a tough two weeks to start the year against 2 really quality opponents.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And then I had not realized that Shadow Mountain is now a conference game for them.
Yes.
That realignment kind of threw me off. I didn't realize. So that is actually going to play big dividends going down the road in terms of playoff seeding, things like that.
Yep.
And River Valley gets absolutely no relief going into the River Bowl this week. They've had such a brutal schedule to get going, and they're probably looking forward to some conference games.
Yes, based on winning percentages last year, River by far and away the toughest schedule of the 8 teams in the county.
Yeah, absolutely, and they have taken it head on. I really thought they should have won definitely the second game that we watched, that I watched. The first one I didn't get a chance to see. They're a tough group.
Yep, definitely. And I'm excited to see them this Friday night.
Yeah, absolutely. So I didn't realize that Lee Williams Havasu is going to be a Thursday game.
It is, which I'm excited about. I'll actually be able to, after practice ends on Thursday,
I think I'm going to run down there too.
I'm going to run down there, yeah.
Yeah, I'm really excited. It's hard to get out of town, pick a game, but to have both of them playing against each other, teams that I've been wanting to watch in
Right.
person, watching them in person. I watched the Mojave Shovel game on a laptop in an Airbnb in Pennsylvania, and I'm like, I think that was a good play.
No, it's a little different. I got a nice little spot in the stands, and just like you got the parents yelling about play calls.
So
and
are you
stuff.
going to sit on the Lee Will side?
I kind of did like what I did with that game. I kind of rotated at halftime between the Mojave and Havasu. I'll probably do something similar.
I had told some of my friends in Havasu that I think I'd be more welcomed on the Lee Williams side. So we'll see how it goes. But I'm really excited to watch both. I think both teams. This is actually a great litmus test for
Yes.
those teams. With respect to their previous opponents, I think this will be the first test Lee Williams has.
This is definitely the first real test. Like we knew going into the Golden Shovel game that Havasu and Mojave are both probably the 1 and 2 of talented teams in our county. But Lee Williams has shown these last 2 weeks that they are a force to be reckoned with.
Absolutely.
How good they are, we're going to find out on Thursday.
And then again, I don't know the status of the quarterback. Obviously, the young man played very respectably in a backup role, but you also then lose a talented receiver if he has to go back to quarterback. And then I'm sure that affects the game plan
We
So
do not know the status on whether or not Trip Burke will be able to play this Thursday, but what we do know is that talking with Coach Freeland, these guys are ready. They're going to step up. They're excited to play Lee Williams this week, and they're not going to falter. This is still a very talented team, and they have their whole season ahead. The playoffs is still there, and also they're in a different region than Mojave and Lee Williams. Their region is still open for them for the grabs.
Yeah. That's a great point. There's a lot of cannibalism that goes on when you play within region and local and rivalry games. They are outside of that region of those two teams, and so it makes for a whole different animal there.
Yeah.
I'm really excited to see how Lee Williams competes against a more equally matched team. You know, and where it comes down to your discipline, your coaching, your depth, all the other things that make it part of the game. Right. Whereas before, if you're just bigger, better, talented, you know, it's really, with all due respect to Coach Regan, you know, you could call it a game blind and you're still going to be okay. This is going to be a real test for them and really sets them up nice going into the meat of their schedule.
Yeah, and this is the first road game of the season for them too. And
Yeah.
Havasu is no joke. That is a home field advantage. I got to see it in person.
I'll tell you, it's a pretty home field advantage.
It's a very beautiful home field
So
advantage.
the guy who operates the camera, shout out to the Havasu camera guy or whoever broadcasted on Huddle, which I really appreciate. I didn't have to pay for it. They kept panning over to the lake as the sun was going down. You know, like they're just selling Havasu there, you know.
Yeah.
And I think I took a picture on my phone of the laptop, and I was like, dude, shout out to the lake, huh?
Yeah.
Havasu is committed to that image, you know.
You got to sell it, man. You got to sell it.
Yeah, they sold the hell out of it. It looked beautiful. And then, I'm in Western Pennsylvania, and my son's game ends, and there's nothing but fog. You know, everybody's out there in hoodies. Fog rolls in. You can't see anything other than the lights from the field once everybody left the field. And then I next day go and watch, and it's like mountain, sun, you know, very, very Havasu of them. Right. So shout out to the camera.
Now, that being said, when they panned over to the lake, did they have on the corner like the 110-degree active temperature?
Nah, I don't think they had that part. So also part of the marketing. Good job, Havasu. So, so does that recap all of our games?
So that's a recap. And we pretty much just previewed Lee Williams and Havasu.
Well,
who do you like in that game, Coach?
I'm going to go with Lee Williams. I think that Lee Williams I think they are extremely bought in. I think that they are believing. I think they're sipping their own Kool-Aid. I think they have the depth to challenge Havasu. I think the one thing that Havasu had on Mojave is that Mojave shot themselves in the foot a few times. And Lee Williams doesn't seem to make those mistakes. Now, they haven't been pressured to make those mistakes. But you're going to have to play your best game to beat them, even if it's a drag-out fundamental game, and the health of the quarterback. You know, we do know that it's a quarterback-driven sport, even in high school where you rely on running the ball quite a bit. If the other young man, Halo, has to play quarterback, he did a pretty good job.
He did a solid
Made
job,
some throws. Now you got a week of reps under your belt.
Got
Might be even better.
A lot more QB design runs with Halo too. You got more of an athlete.
But it takes him out of the position where they want him in.
Right.
It changes what you want to do, and that just is another hurdle that they've got to overcome. So I'm going Lee Williams in that game, even despite the fact it's their first road game. It's barely a road game with all due respect to Arizona travel. 2-3 hours is a road game. You're driving an hour, that's normal for us.
It's a road game to my gas bill.
Yes, it is. That is true.
I am deferring once again this week. I like Lake Havasu in this one. That home field advantage is not to be trifled with. And even with
So
the
we both go this
uncertainty-
game. You sit on the Havasu side, I'll sit on the Lee Will side.
Okay, all right, sure thing.
They're going to run you out of King when you keep this up.
Nah, I think I'll be okay. But it's I believe in Lake Havasu. I think this is an extremely talented team. I think they have a really good running back, good wide receivers, even if Halo isn't playing. Guys like Luke Johnson, Tristan Renata running back. There is legitimate talent on this team, and I think they can go far this year.
Yeah, it's really hard to pick what the game of the week really is, but that's a really, really intriguing matchup.
It was, when we're picking game of the week, it was close, but
Yeah. Yep, absolutely. So did we have a poll on that one?
yeah, do we have a pull on Lee versus
I don't
Lake
know
Havasu?
what the world was thinking, but this is a great matchup, and it's a Thursday night game, guys. If you get out, make the drive, go friggin' take in that view,
Yeah.
watch that game.
The Lee Williams Lake Havasu poll. We might have gone slightly out of order, Jeff.
I don't have that poll, sorry.
Okay, no worries. So we'll go to
Let's get back on track. Let's
Yeah.
get back in order here. So,
Malk visits Siloam this weekend.
That'll be above you guys.
Yep. The people like Malk to win this one. I also like Malk to win this game. I think Siloam is a solid team, but Malk's got their groove back.
you know, I really don't know much about Siloam. I do know that as they get healthy, Torres comes back, they're going to get better. It sounds like the quarterback had a nice game to kind of get his feet underneath him and arm, so to speak.
Yes.
And so I'm picking Malk. I'm picking the local team. I don't know a whole lot about the other team. The Siloam Frogs, is that
The
their-
Siloam Frogs.
I
yes.
think the 1A schools have cooler nicknames.
It is cool, and their helmet is great. Just this little fighting frog. It's awesome.
Yeah,
But Siloam, they're
that's
like
fantastic.
40 minutes away from Parker, I want to say.
Oh,
They're both.
okay.
They're one of the 2 high schools in La Paz County. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, so I'm going Malk on that one. We'll see how it goes. I really look forward to seeing Malk get back on track, hopefully, and we get down later in the season. We get all these teams that should be. We should have several playoff teams out of this county.
I agree,
And,
yeah.
it should be a lot of fun. So that leads us to our next one.
Kingman Academy is visiting Bourgade Catholic. Bourgade Catholic started the year 2-0, but they got waxed last week by the 2A favorite, Scottsdale Christian, coached by Kingman alum Mike Sheehan.
Gotta love that tie-in.
Yeah,
huh?
no, that's great. But I like Kingman Academy in this one. They got their first one under their belt next season, and they have a very favorable schedule, which will show again this week.
Yep. I'm gonna pick the opposite just to be contrarian. I'm trying to risk a little bit, get out ahead of you in this running here. One thing that I don't know about them is the personnel who they've played. What I do know is that they are smack dab in the middle of Phoenix. They have talent to pull from. They had a lot of kids. They must have dropped down to 2A.
Yeah, they dropped down to a couple years ago.
Yeah, so they were a 3A. They had a tough time in 3A, but they had a lot of talented kids, and I think that they're going to be a heck of a 2A team to compete with. So they're right down the road from GCU. Tons of talent to pull from. You never know what these schools are going to have, but we'll find out.
Definitely.
I'm
Do we
taking
have
a little
the,
bit of a risk here, trying to get ahead in the,
Yeah, we
in the
gotta-
polls here.
We had 2 different picks last week, and we're still tied. Do we have the poll from the public for that game, Jeff?
The last one you just talked about?
Kingman Academy versus Bourgade. Yep, so the public also likes Bourgade Catholic. Closer poll than usual, though.
And I tell you, if I'm Bourgade Catholic, I am finding that Olave kid,
Yeah.
and he's not getting the ball. I'm committing a couple bodies. Somebody else going to have to beat me. We had a conversation with Deacon Maish the other day, and I said, Deke, I don't know what they're going to do, but you are not going to be one-on-one all day if I'm playing against you.
Yep.
So, and I think he's seen a lot of that. So that is how I would scheme up against those guys. Takes us to Monument Valley. Kingman, again, I don't know anything about Monument Valley. You have to fill me in.
Monument Valley has been somewhat of a rival the last couple years with Kingman. Neither team has won at the other team's home stadium. Like, we've had a couple close games in Monument Valley. Beautiful place, by the way. The Sedona of the Navajo Reservation, I call it. And we've had some very controversial endings to some of those games. Clocks running when guys running out of bounds, questionable calls. But it is what it is. I got Kingman winning this week. Monument's had a rough start to the year. The people also like Kingman.
I'm glad I saw that before I picked. Let's go
Yeah.
Kingman.
Monument Valley has only scored 13 points in 3 games this year. They got waxed by Needles, actually, in Flagstaff a couple weeks ago, 46-0.
Needles is tough. We got to get Needles in this row. I know they're not Mojave County, but they're a stone's throw away. You got to at least give them a shout out here and there. Needles a fun group. Went out and watched their playoff game last year. They're a good program out there.
So I like I like Kingman Academy. This is going to be a bounce back win for them.
Kingman, right?
Yep.
So I'm going Kingman also. I didn't know much about them. I'm glad you guys showed me that poll before I made a pick. I think I was picking them anyway. For one, when you have a game like you just had, you've just been battle tested. You probably just saw the roughest opponent you're going to see all year.
Maybe the most talented team. Them and they got Blue Ridge late in the year too.
Yeah, Blue Ridge,
Kingman
very
does,
good,
yeah.
very good, but much smaller. Typically
Yes.
not quite the numbers. and then you go into a rivalry game. You're probably super hungry, ready to get back out there. And I'm going Kingman. I expect the quarterback to have a big day.
Another factor is the drive. That's 6.5-hour drive.
It's nothing for us
between
out here.
Kayenta.
I want to know how they're even getting the bus drivers for it. Like, I don't know what the rule is at this point, but I know that the bus drivers are hard to come by, and that's a long day.
I know, like, when I was coaching at Kingman, we had to have 2 bus drivers for that drive. And then last year, we were able to have 1. So we ended up having to get a hotel in Flagstaff and leave on Thursday for the game.
Yeah, jeez. Yeah, that's tough. Safety first, of course. But, boy, that makes for a rough couple days, especially depending on when you play, how much school you're missing, when you're coming back to. It's a lot on these young athletes. I don't think people fully realize, like, this is for fun.
Like around here,
But
like
it takes a toll.
Yeah, like around here, most of the schools around here have Fridays off. That's not the case for the majority of the state.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. So look forward to seeing the results of that. Kingman, I need you to win for me. I can't afford to fall behind here.
Yep.
So.
All right, so that moves on to our next one. Phoenix Christian is visiting Fort Mojave to play Desert Star and Coach Clark and company. I'm going to be honest, this is the first time I'm betting against Coach Clark this year. I have Phoenix Christian. They won their region last year. Very tough, talented team. One of the better private schools in 2A.
Well, every time you see something Christian or Catholic or whatever, they tend to be pretty well funded, pretty well staffed, and pretty tough to beat.
Yeah.
So I'm going Phoenix Christian this also. I think it's Desert Star builds up their group. They'll be able to compete more with those. But even
the public agrees with us.
yeah, it's one of these things, and I've griped about it because that's what I do. You have these schools, and ours was always Yuma Catholic, and you go, they're not really.
Yeah, no, they're playing by a different set of rules. Like,
They're playing, they're not really on the same enrollment plan as, which I'll tell you to their, compliment. That was River Valley's nemesis. Probably robbed them of some state championships.
Yeah. The year they won state, their only loss was to Yuma Catholic.
Yeah.
In a game that was not close.
Yeah. Right, exactly. And so that's kind of the, the example. Another one in Vegas would be Bishop Gorman. I don't know what their actual enrollment is.
Right.
But they're clearly not just a school.
Right.
They have a lot more going on. And it's a real uphill battle, especially for, whether you're a charter or a public school.
Yeah.
You're still pulling from your local town. A lot of times these schools are pulling from all over the place. So I'm going Phoenix Christian. I hope Desert Star schemes it up, puts it all together, shocks the world, shocks the polls.
This is probably the most talented team Desert Star is going to see this year.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So, and I hope they came out of that last game healthy. I heard it was pretty rough. So that's another whole
Another factor
thing.
with their numbers, yeah.
Yeah. So we already talked Lee Williams Havasu, just reiterate. I'm going Lee Will. You're taking Havasu.
Yep.
You're thinking the talent wins out. I'm thinking numbers, structure, scheme. The one thing Havasu is they're pretty predictable. They really haven't varied much in the however many years I've coached against them and or have watched them. Same coach, same scheme.
Yeah.
They're going to do what they do.
It is interesting, though, like going around the schools in this county, like all the offensive coordinators are young guys.
Yeah.
And all the defensive guys are older folks.
Yeah.
Like, you find me an old defensive coordinator, I'll find you a dodo bird.
Well, I'll tell you, you ever see those memes, where they're like, here's the O-line coach and some grizzled old whatever, and here's the D-line, he's some lunatic, and then there's the offensive guy, and it's a very studious, trendy fella, and it's kind of
Backwards
fun.
hat,
It's kind of fun to see the personalities that go into each position, and makes football this wild melting pot of personalities. I watched the Steelers play, and Calvin Austin's 3.5 feet tall.
Right.
Meanwhile, you have the tight end who's 6'7" or whatever he is. So it's a wild game.
Yeah, it is. That's kind of one of the things I always enjoyed going back to the Glacier Clinics in Vegas is you see a wide
I gotta just show
range
you guys this
of
one.
personalities.
Shane, go ahead and read that last
What is that?
last comment there.
From who?
It says his name.
No mention of O-line and D-line, who opened up holes to make some very good plays. That sounds like your grandson is an offensive lineman.
Open up holes.
Yeah.
Send in some
You-
photos. Tell
yeah,
us. Send in
listen.
some photos.
Appreciate the input. O-line, D-line, and we're coming up to that game next, and you're probably not going to like what we got to say there. So, where were we?
The River Bowl.
River
Our
Bowl.
game of the week this week.
Absolutely. So that leads right into that comment there. In years past, the more physical team in the trenches has been Mojave. I am not sure that that is the case right now. They play with a very fast, undersized D-line. River Valley really wants to throw a lot of bodies. They are going to run. Deacon's been lead blocking. I've seen D's 6 feet tall, 200-some pounds, and he's a lead blocker on most offensive plays. That being said, it's going to be a hell of a game.
I think it's going to be a hell of a game. I like River Valley on this one. To me, when it comes to River, they're unique in 3A, 4A, because most schools offensively, they're spread out, 4 wide, 5 wide. River is the contrarian. A lot of 22, 21 personnel sets, and just a lot of motions, misdirections, the use of multiple running backs, and they want to pound the rock and just out-physical you.
Yeah, and I actually think it's a stylistic nightmare, in my opinion. I think Mojave is still more talented in the skilled positions. I think that they have a lot of seniors with a lot of experience. I hope that they figure out what to do defensively to slow that down. But stylistically, it's not a good matchup. I'm taking Mojave regardless. I think that Joe is a nightmare to contain. I think that Jeremiah runs the ball tough. If you commit to stopping Jeremiah, then you're going to have to stop one of the many other weapons in some other way. But I think if they don't get that D-line, stopping the big bodies, it's going to end up being a shootout game. And a shootout in that one, I don't know that it really goes to Mojave's favor.
A shootout in that aspect would be very interesting. I've coached a couple games when I was at the academy.
When I say shootout, I mean like 8 running plays to quick score.
I know exactly what you're talking about. I remember my last year coached the academy back in 2017. We had games against Paradise Honors and Parker where Parker would go on these 10, 13-play drives and use up like 6, 7 minutes of clock. And then we would have 30-second touchdown drives.
Right. But it's 2 different ways to get to the same result. And then it goes back to that depth thing. And Mojave doesn't have a lot of depth. If you're grinding out 8, 9 run plays, and then those same guys are going back out on offense, then it becomes a different game, a war of attrition. And it's a tough one. But I think Mojave completes the very dominant wave of this class of kids where they River Bowl 3 in a row, they shovel 3 in a row. I don't think that they're playing their best ball. Unfortunately, you hate to hear it. I know that River Valley's dealing with some injuries on that O-line. Injuries, and it sounds like one kid is going to miss a game for a bad call. Not that we've ever seen one of those. And that's going to have an impact. I mean, you're putting guys in different positions. I believe Alvarado's out. The kid's been very good at center the last few years. And, you got to get your
definitely the focal point of that offensive line is Alvarado.
Yeah.
I think River's going to keep this one close, but if I pick against Coach O again, I don't think he's ever going to let me in the building. So I got Mojave this week as well. So,
Coach O's a very forgiving guy, just so you know. I had a great conversation with Coach King and Deacon the other day. It sounds like they're very aware of their situation. They are game planning, living in the film, things like that. And I can't wait to watch this game. This is I've told this story a million times, so I apologize for telling it again. I've coached a lot of these kids over the years on the same teams. Now they play against each other, and it's so hard to root. I just want to watch the game. I asked if I could sit in one of them little perches up there by myself where no one will bother me. I don't have to listen to anybody say crazy stuff about these kids. And it'll be the thing that just like sticks in my back forever is that they didn't play together for the last 4 years. If you look at those group of kids, had they played together, they would have been, whether it be 3A or 4A, one of the most dominant groups, period. And but they all went to 3 or 4 different schools. Torres was a Firebird kid, Maish, Alvarado, Pedro, Tony. I mean, all the who's who of football in the area came out of that Firebird program, and so it always really, really pulls at my heartstrings to watch them beat the crap out of each other. So.
Yeah, definitely. But with the growing of this community, there has to be more high schools. We gotta.
Do there?
Well, unless it's important to remember, like everyone complains in Kingman back when about how they wish it was a one high school town again.
Yeah.
But people forget, like when we were one high school town, we were 5A. We didn't get to play Havasu. We didn't get to play Mojave. We went to Phoenix every single week.
I think it's good, especially education-wise, to have competition where you're competing, you're coming up with innovative things. As a sports junkie, watching the talent dilute, and you see what could be, but it's the nature of things.
Yep, it is the nature of things.
It's the nature of things.
Yeah. How was your trip to Pennsylvania?
It was good. Benjamin didn't get cleared. He's still dealing with an ankle injury, but it was his birthday, so we got to watch him. It was actual football weather. It was a high of 70 degrees. Beautiful, a lot of fun. It was very exciting to see. And I ended up running into a couple buddies from elementary school. I moved before high school. So it ended up just being a great trip. I love the green. I love everything about it. I love all the terrible bar food I ate. I went to 5 different places, got wings every time, so.
Nah, it's nice going back to East Coast every once in a while. I know I need to make a trip to go back to Florida one of these days.
This is the
especially with winter
first
rolling.
time I've gone back there and I didn't spend any time in Pittsburgh. I always go spend time in the city, go up, visit some family, and go watch a Steeler game and leave. And this is the first time I just hung up in the country where I'm from, and it was a lot of fun. Missed my baby boy.
Yep. They grow up too fast.
Yeah, they do. They definitely do grow up fast. I feel like we've always rushed through. We end up about 45 minutes every time.
Yeah, just about. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, hey, great job today, Coach. Like we said, me and Coach Shane, we're going to be at the Havasu League game. We're going to be at the River Bowl. Stop by, say hi.
Yeah.
Talk about your kids.
Drop some photos.
And I'm going to go on a little bit of a tangent here. We pick these games as objectively as possible. These are high school kids playing high school football.
Photos.
Yeah. Send us, man, we love it. Send us your clips.
Yeah.
Send us the pictures.
And also, shout out to Junior Herrera of the Kingman Daily Miner and Matt Rothman of Mojave Daily News
Absolutely.
with these great pictures we got from all these games. There's Coach Reagan in the Superintendent's Cup.
Boy, that's a tall trophy.
Yeah.
That might be as tall as Coach.
Just about.
But yeah, guys, we love the participation, the comments. Please share it.
Yes.
We're trying to get it out there. We're going to start putting more clips out on our Instagram page. We'd really like to grow this thing and really emphasize all these individuals who are going out and giving us something to talk about, all these kids, and especially as they go off into college, hopefully go into state, hopefully win some championships, and make this a big thing. So.
Also, before we end, shout out to Lee Williams alumni Cruz Yoakum was named the Special Teams Player of the Game for NAU's game against Utah State, formerly Dixie State.
Very
So,
cool.
good job to him.
Congratulations. Yeah, love to hear it. So thank you guys so much. We will be back next week. So we're going to go watch Lee Havasu.
Thursday, tomorrow.
We are willing to come down and we had talked about it a little bit yesterday. We are willing to come down and do a little pregame show or even broadcast the show during the game
For the River Bowl
to
tomorrow,
cover the game itself.
Yeah.
If anyone is interested, we are willing. We have to make sure that 3 people's separate schedules all work out, but just let us know. We'd love to put some extra eyeballs on your game. So
Definitely, yeah.
cool, man. Good job, Coach.
Cool. Good job.
I get a shout out to you. You do all the research. I showed up 30 minutes before we started.
Yeah. Well, Jeff was the one working his butt off today. Like, we had to last second getting these clips on and everything.
Just a little.
Yeah.
We have a sales
Difficulty,
starting today,
that's
so
it.
we're in a sales meeting. I came straight down here, put some goop in my hair, and got on the show. And you guys were already dialed in, and I really appreciate it. You guys do a great job. Check Coach out on Twitter. That's where he does most of his fun stuff. Yep. And we'll see you guys soon.
See you next week.
soon.